best version of that story ever put on film. It's the Walt Disney version starring Peter Finch. And O'Toole plays a bagpiper, actually, Rob Roy, they call him. He and Peter Finch and Richard Burton and Richard Harris and Oliver Reed we're all
put on your helmets.
We're some of the great men of alcoholism. And O'Toole was the last one to leave the planet. He was 81 years old when he died yesterday. He was also very eccentric with or without the drink. For example, he would never leave the house with his wallet, with a watch, or with the keys to the house, and was frequently detained by the constabulary for breaking into his own home late at night as a result of this. He went out with Peter Finch to a pub in Ireland one day, and they had a boozing session that lasted until closing time, which was very strict, the closing time. Everybody had to leave, but they didn't want to leave, so they each took out a checkbook and they bought the pub. And then he didn't have to leave. The next day, they relented and the landlord hadn't cashed the check and was kind enough to return the check to him. So, in fact, they became so fond of this landlord, they went to his pub all the time. And when he died, they went to his funeral. And they were by the graveside sobbing noisily, probably deeply in drink. Finch turned away, unable to stand the pain anymore. O'Toole saw his face change to a look of great surprise. They were at the wrong funeral. They were, his friend was being buried 100 yards away. His apartment caught fire one time and it burned to the ground. The police asked him, well, what did you? He said, I tried to use the fire extinguisher, but I couldn't read the fine print on the thing, so I couldn't get it going. And the house burned down as a result. He was out drinking with Richard Harris one night. Finch disappeared. He was climbing the wall of the Bank of England at the time. But Richard Harris was found in the middle of one of those famous 8-street intersections in London, sitting right in the middle, totally naked, smiling away when the police arrived. And they said, what are you doing, sir? And he said, I'm waiting for my house to come by.
My house to come by?
Yes, he was watching the houses going by. He was waiting for his to come by so he could go home.
Like the world is spinning.
O'Toole, of course, his big break was in his fourth film. I think it was Lawrence of Arabia. And there's a great moment when the young lieutenant, Peter O'Toole, is standing before a general, which was played by Sir Donald Wolfett, the last of the great British theatre actor-managers, a great bear of a man, who says to him, don't you get insubordinate with me, young man. And whereupon O'Toole answers him, oh, it's my manner, sir. It seems insubordinate, but it isn't.
Oh, Julian should say that one. Oh my God.
Right.
It just looks like I'm bad.
When he was making The Lion in Winter with Katharine Hepburn, they had a scene on the lake, and he got his hand caught in between two boats, and the two of them clashed together and chopped off the top of his finger. He took the top of his finger ashore, dropped it into a glass of brandy to sterilize it, and stuck it back on and wrapped it up tight, and waited 3 weeks, and opened it up and looked at it, and the damn thing was on backwards. He said, I put it on probably the wrong way, probably because of the brandy, which I had finished.
Oh, great.
He made only one film with Audrey Hepburn, which is a brilliant film, and I don't know why it didn't make lots of money, but it didn't. It was called How to Steal $1 Million, and it's one of the great romantic comedies of the early 60s. They dressed her, of course, in Givenchy all the way through the whole movie. And it's got the great Welsh actor Hugh Griffiths in it playing her father, and a wonderful French comic mime as well. It's a really great film. If you can find How to Steal $1 Million, I recommend it. And his last film, I think, was Dean Shanley, which is also really, really cool. He's a very old fellow in it, but he's very good. was the last surviving member of the British reprobate gang. He said, the only common denominator amongst my friends is that they're all dead. He said, I love the drinking and waking up in the morning to find I was in Mexico. It was part and parcel of being an idiot. Next week, Charles Dickens.
Yeah.